Hello, brothers and sisters of the church. Today I was thinking about the story out of John chapter 4 with the woman at the well when she encountered Christ. And, towards the end of the story, as Jesus' conversation with her is coming to an end, the disciples are arriving. And they're amazed at first to see him speaking to a woman, a Samaritan woman, and she leaves as they arrive, and she goes back to the town. But a part of the conversation that I wanted to focus on is as Jesus is talking to the disciples and speaking to them about a food which he had that they could not really understand, and that was that he was doing the will of the Father. Sometimes we hunger and thirst, and that hunger and that thirst that we have should truly be for doing God's will. And I hope you have a hunger and thirst for doing God's will. He told the disciples to lift up their eyes, for the fields were ripe for the harvest. And a part of my mind, I always picture that as he's saying this, they're facing him and not seeing the crowd from the nearby town coming out to see him. Because the woman had gone back and she had said, I had this strange encounter with this man, and he knows all about me. Could this be the Messiah? I think even the townspeople were shocked because they knew the woman. I think that in many ways, I've read before a story, really more of a story just kind of embellishing this account, but they're saying, this woman, she probably came to the well in the middle of the day, the hottest time of the day, because she didn't expect to find anybody there. She didn't expect to find the other women from the town there getting water at the hottest time of the day, because she was probably embarrassed. She probably had lived a life of scorn because of the many husbands that she had had, because she was living with a man who would not even give her his name at the time, a man who would not marry her. And yet now she's bold and willing to go back and say, hey, this rabbi, he talked to me. And the things that he said, you need to come and hear. And at this moment, Jesus is speaking to the disciples saying, look, the fields are ripe for the harvest. All around us, the fields are ripe for the harvest. There's people who want to hear the good news, and we need to go tell. And by telling and by doing God's will, and by being a part of God's mission, we ourselves receive a spiritual food, a food that nourishes the soul but satisfies the heart. And I hope and pray this week you'll look around, you'll consider the fields that are ripe for the harvest. Some are near and some are far. I'm about to travel back to Brazil, and I will be at one of those faraway fields. And yes, indeed, it is ripe for the harvest. We meet all kinds of people on the street who are ready to hear the good news of Christ. Do pray for that time. But I also ask that you would pray that the Lord would show you the fields around you, the people who need to hear the gospel. Brothers and sisters, I hope and pray that you're having a blessed week. Until Sunday, God bless.